What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Uncle Project Podcast. It's your host, Mr. T, and this is where I, as a content creator, document my journey along different projects that I'm working on, all the successes, failures, and everything in between. You know, sometimes we might just be hanging out. But on today's episode, we're getting busy. We're going to be getting into some Web3 Twitter space convos, some free tools that you can use to help you build your Twitter or like a free poor man's website. You know, you might need to build your website or something. We're going to get into some NFTs and a lot more. So be sure to listen till the end of this episode, and also be sure to check those links in the show notes. And be sure to check that blog post out. You know, y'all got to check my blog post out. So yeah, we'll go ahead, get a quick word from our sponsor, Anchor, and get right into it. All right, so last week, I figured out that Twitter Spaces is definitely like the most underrated social media like thing ever. You know, there is Clubhouse, and I'm aware that that's like a really huge thing, but I'm not an Instagram user really. I'm more on the Twitter side of things. So I've never really gotten to experience Clubhouse and get that Clubhouse experience, but I feel like Twitter Spaces is like huge right now. So especially over like the past couple of weeks, I've been in a lot of wax spaces, and just really kind of learning as much as I can about the wax NFT community, and just how they're using their NFTs, you know, the different artists and things on wax. They have a lot of artists doing like, they're really crafty with it. I have to say, like, they really, they've got their creative hats on. Some of them do like comics. Some of them do, or it seems like a lot of them do games, which is pretty cool. Always had like a thing growing up. Like I was a big like console gamer growing up, like PS2, Nintendo 64, PlayStation, and all that type of stuff. And I always thought it would be cool to make a game. And from what I've observed, it's doable on wax, even for somebody who doesn't have like a big technical background like myself. It won't be the most advanced game, like a super advanced graphical like RPG or adventure game or anything like that, but you can get a pretty cool game developed on wax, or put a game together on wax, you know, like a simple card game or something. And like even that, I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, so yeah, people doing games. There was this one lady, she was doing like a VTuber mask, which I thought was really cool. Like doing like just making like a mask out of her NFT that she's created, which is pretty freaking amazing. But yeah, so specifically, in those wax spaces, just learning how the different artists are using NFTs, different tools, you know, just using like Tippet, like to seeing NFTs over Twitter or just like different integrations that different marketplaces have with Discord. I haven't really saw how to connect like notifications to Discord, but just using Honeycomb, and just being able to verify that someone is human, just based on them having a wax NFT or a wax account with a specific NFT in that wallet. Just different utilities like that. They just really go into detail in those wax spaces, and even on the Hive side of things, like I've been focusing a lot more on wax, especially on Twitter. It seems like wax is a bigger deal on Twitter, or the community is a lot more engaged on Twitter than or the wax community is more engaged on Twitter than the Hive community is, which is understandable because Hive is like a social networking platform in itself. And they just had like the Hive or the Leo threads launch on Hive, which is like a short form micro blogging platform that uses Hive, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so they were talking about 3Speak that just launched, or the SPK network. I'm not really 100% sure how they're terming that, but it seems like they've made some pretty big advancements in the area of decentralized video content sharing, which is something that I've always had interest in. Historically, I've used Library and more of the Odyssey app, but I don't know. There's been like some legal complications with that particular coin, and some of that is, I feel like it's going to straighten itself out. But when that happened, I feel like it drew away, or it scared people away from the Odyssey platform. I still feel like it's a good platform, but I just feel like people are a little afraid to mess with, or they have been afraid to mess with it. But hopefully some of that is going to clear itself up here in the near future. But yeah, it looks like 3Speak is kind of making some big steps now, and just allowing people to run nodes, and just, I don't know how they're decentralizing the process, but they've got some pretty big things going on. I'll leave a link in the show notes of these spaces so you all can check them out yourself. And yeah, check those spaces out. It's a lot of really interesting things going on in the NFT, in the Web3 space right now. So yeah, last week it was big on Twitter Spaces. If you look at my Twitter account right now, I've been working on it a lot lately, and just really trying to grow my Twitter. So like really right now, if you look at it, it kind of looks like I've been like active, like pretty much nonstop throughout the week. But my secret is I've been doing a little bit of automation. So just using a ton of different free tools that they have out there that kind of schedule your tweets for good times, just based on when your audience is available to interact with those tweets. So I've been tweeting a lot more, in more tweets than just my content. Just doing like regular tweets, and really just scheduling those to post throughout the day. I have a couple of apps that I'm using, Crowdfire and Buffer, and yeah, those are really big in just helping me spread that content out. And I can just set everything up one time and kind of let it run, let the app decide when to tweet those things out, which is really, really nice. And since doing that, I've noticed that my followers have gone down, but my engagement on my tweets have gone up. And so it feels like it's like the more meaningful engagement too. Like just retweets from people who are into the projects that I'm into. So just retweets from different Hive and Wax people, which is really nice to see. But yeah, so just using a lot of good free tools to automate my Twitter, and also using a lot of free tools to kind of piece together like a poor man's website. I'll leave a link in the description or in the show notes to a post that I made on Hive, just how I piece together like a website out of like 3 free like link sharing web page builders, which I think is pretty cool. It's just going to be a good way for me to connect you all with stuff that I feel is just quality, dope stuff. Like I'm not necessarily looking to be like the richest person ever overnight, but just doing this podcast and creating content, I would like to be compensated a little bit for the time that I put into it. I think that it helped me deliver better content and just make it a better overall situation for you all as supporters and myself as a creator. But yeah, so just the different web pages, they all have different purposes. I'll leave you to discover some of that in the blog post that I'll have in the show notes. And yeah, I think it'll be a pretty good method to test. Just having really highly focused web pages. But yeah, so just using a lot of good free resources right now, really connecting with my Web3 and NFT communities on Twitter, and just making sure that my Twitter is growing, and that I have web pages set up to help me share my content, get my content out there, help people find affiliates that support me and that I like, and just help people, find good stuff that'll be useful to them. Make it easy for people to set up a free Hive account, and tokenize their time a little bit more, just by doing stuff that they usually do on a everyday basis anyway. Pretty much everybody uses social media. So yeah, it's just a really easy way to tokenize that time. But yeah, so that's going to be all for this episode. Really don't want to make this one a long one. Be sure to check out the links in the show notes. Check out those Twitter spaces. A lot of really good information in those, especially if you're like a content creator of any sort, not even in the NFT space. Check out those Twitter spaces, and also the link to I have a link to a post for my blog article as well. You might want to set up like a poor man's web page or a poor man's website yourself. If you check that post out, you'll have a template there ready to go. But yeah, be sure to subscribe to the Uncle Project podcast. Share the show. I'll see you all on the next episode. Peace.